A major holiday in our family is coming up. Stross's birthday, May 5th. Those of you who've read the book know that I have identified that as a personal holy day, much like Jewish high holy days. It's a day of remembering. I didn't say it had to be, it just was, and I just noticed that it was, and it was helpful when I noticed that it was. And I think it's in the preface of the book is the year that I noticed just to stop fighting it. On Stross's 5th birthday, the whole Happy Time preschool story. But when Stross was young, I'm taping this before his birthday because he's got big plans. Every year he has big plans for his birthday, and he begins not long after Christmas. I kind of kept him off to after Valentine's Day now, but he starts thinking. Sometimes he plans and then makes new plans, and so you'll find out later what we did. But all his plans. When he was really little, it always included reading the story of his birth that was recorded in his baby book. And so I came up. That's adorable little Stross. And that picture that I made sure was everywhere, as people would learn about him. And farm nursery. His nursery was always a farm, and there's just this one room that I can't remove farm items from. But the story of his birth, I used to say orally to him aloud, actually much like Jewish tradition, where you just recount it and remember. But then, of course, it became necessary to write it down because I didn't want to forget. So I wrote it down, and when it came time to write the book, you're going to find it very familiar, I think. So I just thought I'd read it today. I woke up at 5:18 a.m. on May 5, trying to decide if I should get up to head to the bathroom again or wait until the alarm would go off at 6 a.m. I'd been sleeping in a sitting position in bed with pillows for several weeks, so sleep was my preference. Within an instant, I thought I'd wet the bed and jumped out to go to the bathroom. That's when I discovered my water had broken. Daddy sensed, I wrote this to Stross, so it's, and I haven't read this yet, so it'll be a surprise for me. I mean, not in a while. Daddy sensed something was up when I returned and only asked once if I was sure. One time. We got ready to go to the hospital immediately. I called the doctor and Daddy packed a suitcase. He knew what to put in it because we had talked through everything before going to bed the night before. Also, I had read a chapter about C-sections to Daddy while he ate a snack. We both went to sleep very early on May 4, almost as if God was saying, "Get to bed, you have a big day tomorrow." They took an x-ray at the hospital and learned you were frank breech, then readied me for surgery. I was dilated to 3, effaced, and not yet able to tell I was having regular contractions. Daddy had to tell me when I was having a contraction by looking at the monitor. We were having fun anticipating your birth and listening to your loud heartbeat on the monitor. Daddy called both sets of grandparents to let them know you were on the way. We headed in for surgery as soon as the neonatologist arrived. Daddy had to leave the room only for the anesthesiologist to insert the needle for the anesthesia. Then he came back to be there when you were born. We had borrowed a camera from the Novaceks, so he kept busy and distracted by taping what was going on. He sat right by my head and looked as first one of your feet and then another were delivered. The doctor was sort of giving a play-by-play. Both Daddy and I noticed that things got quiet all of a sudden. Ugh. And the medical people seemed to work a little faster. From the video being taken by a nurse now, we know that's when they saw a seal or an opening on your back. Okay, I can do this. Daddy joined you at the exam table as they suctioned you and helped you breathe. I kept trying to peek over. Daddy came back and forth between you and me, giving one little report about what he saw and how beautiful he thought you were. Soon the neonatologist had you warmly wrapped with a little hat and brought you over to say hi to me. Your face was so content, so round and peaceful. Look at your son, the doctor said. Dr. Sahu. Helplessly strapped to the surgery table, I could only turn my face and press my cheek next to yours. I counted your fingers, and I asked if you had 10 toes. I was worried that your fingers were a little blue, but they reassured me they were fine. Is he all right? I asked. No, we must take him and your husband now, too. We'll talk to you later. How much later, I wondered. And what could be wrong? I asked the anesthesiologist to tell me. And after a pause, he said, have you ever heard of myelomeningocele? No, but it sounded bad. Your son's spine has grown outside of his body, and he will probably be paralyzed from the waist down. Will it grow correctly after birth? I asked, thinking of all the stories I'd heard about premature babies that grow and prosper in an incubator. No, he will need surgery as soon as possible to close it. It happened the very first weeks of your pregnancy, probably even before you knew you were pregnant. It was nothing you did. In fact, we're not sure exactly what causes myelomeningocele. It's a combination of genetic and environmental factors. I was so thankful for that doctor. Daddy was with you learning about your need for a colostomy and asking for a brochure about everything because he knew that I'd want to know as much as possible. He was really worried that no one had told me anything. In fact, it was hard convincing the doctors to tell us stuff because they believed we were in shock and that we wouldn't be able to remember the facts. They soon learned we were not very typical. We knew we were students of life, and you were teaching us some of the biggest lessons life can offer. And here's one. As we waited to transfer with you to another hospital, Daddy called the grandparents to tell them that you were born. Nana and Papa Bowden came already. They were already on the road, and Grandpa and Grandma Newcomb were at church. When Uncle Jason answered, Daddy had a hard time finding the words to explain about you. One full sentence he got out was, and he probably won't be able to play baseball. When Daddy finally hung up, we talked about how baseball was more than running and that life was a lot more than baseball. And there's pictures of very first pictures of you before surgery. These are the only pictures of you before surgery. And we don't have any picture of the opening on your back. We only have that video. So when I tell Stross's story in person, or if I read this in person, I don't totally break down like that, but I do get a little teary, and he knows why. And if Stross is watching this right now, I know he watches sometimes. Stross knows that because we were sad that he had something wrong, but that we knew we were in a good place for him to be taken care of, and that we're so very thankful that we had him because he's taught us so many things. And gosh, we just love Stross so much. So, May 5th, check it out. It's a big day. Everybody's birthday is a big day. You get to stop and measure how much you've grown in a year. As we get older, we don't check how much we've grown taller, but we check out how much we've really grown. So I feel like I have 2 birthdays that I check in on for that. My own and my oldest son's. And yeah, my youngest son's birthday, I get a little reflective. But I think he understands how different, how fortunately different his life gets to be. And I bet that's reflection for him. Happy birthday, Stross. God, what a lot of fun you are. And thank you.